In this video, the breathing blueprint will discuss the 5 main modes of mechanical ventilation. The first mode is volume control ventilation. This mode supplies ventilation with a set tidal volume. The ventilator calculates a flow based on a set tidal volume and the length of inspiratory time to deliver that tidal volume. It then adjusts that output by measuring delivered volumes at the flow sensors. In volume control ventilation, the pressure gradually increases as the breath is delivered, creating a ramped pressure waveform. The advantages of volume control ventilation is that the provider can easily select the desired tidal volume. However, the disadvantages of volume control ventilation are that the inspired pressures are variable and can be drastically changed off of lung compliance or changes in patient positioning. The second mode we'll discuss is pressure control ventilation. Pressure control ventilation supplies a constant set pressure during inspiration. The ventilator calculates the inspiratory time from the respiratory rate and the I/E ratio. The ventilator automatically adjusts the volume to maintain the set inspiratory pressure, which prevents barotrauma but can limit the tidal volume in a patient with non-compliant lungs. Pressure control ventilation delivers decelerating flow breaths, which are like natural breaths and thus more efficient. Take a moment to observe the top pressure waveform pattern, which is more squared than the pointed volume waveform. Pressure control volume guarantee is a combination of both volume control ventilation and pressure control ventilation to give you the best of both modes. The provider sets the volume and the ventilator will adjust the inspiratory pressure needed to deliver the set tidal volume breath by breath so that the lowest pressure is used. The inspiratory pressure will adjust between breaths up to 3 centimeters of water at a time. If a high airway pressure alarm is activated, the ventilator will deliver a breath with a target pressure of 0.5 centimeters of water less than the previous breath. Volume guarantee allows the patient to get a set breath, but once the peak pressure is reached, the ventilator will alarm and deliver smaller tidal volume breaths until the peak falls below the alarm pressure setting. SIMV is a mode in which periodic breaths are delivered to the patient at present intervals, which are time-triggered. SIMV is commonly referred to as a mode for weaning a patient off of the ventilator. Between the set breaths, the patient can breathe spontaneously at the rate, tidal volume, and timing that the patient desires. This is referred to as spontaneous breathing period. These spontaneous breaths can be supported with pressure support to decrease the work of breathing. However, if the ventilator does not sense patient effort within a specified time interval, the ventilator will deliver a set breath. This breath can be set as the volume or pressure breath depending on which SIMV mode is selected. This is essentially 2 modes in one, our control being our tidal volume and respiratory rate, and our inspiratory pressure support and PEEP to the right. Here you can see the distinction on the bottom left of the screen, which indicates this is an SIMV pressure control setting. Also demonstrated here is our final SIMV setting, which is SIMV pressure control volume guarantee. PSV Pro is a spontaneous mode of ventilation that allows the patient to dictate their respiratory rate. With each inspiratory effort, the ventilator delivers a set pressure support to assist with ventilation. In this mode, the provider sets the pressure support and PEEP levels, but the patient will establish the rate, inspiratory flow, and inspiratory time. Finally, we can see why protective is in the name PSV Pro. If the patient's apneic, as they were demonstrating previously, a backup mode of SIMV will be initiated by the ventilator to prevent long periods of apnea followed by hypoxia.